Welcome to episode 27 of the Landlady Boss podcast. I'm here with my co-host and sister, Rachel. Hello, Rachel. How are you doing?
Hi, Marie. I'm doing well. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you had a wonderful time with family and friends and relaxing a little bit.
The most Americans in one room that I've been with for a long time. We had, I think, like 17 plus 3 children, so 20. 20 Americans. That was a lot of Americans in one room.
In Bulgaria, yes, that would be
In
an
Bulgaria.
accomplishment.
Right, it was. And all on, we just had little tables attached to big tables and made one long table so that everyone could be there and eat together, and we did traditional. So it was wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. Did you have any issues finding certain food things that we normally do in the U.S.? Like, what was the biggest challenge with food?
So my daughter brought cranberry sauce, the 2 types, whole berry and jelly, with her from this last summer when she was in the States. So we had that. And and she did bring some canned pumpkin, but they do have fresh pumpkin that we'd have to bake. Our biggest issue was really everything was from scratch, right? So we made our own stuffing. So that was a new one. But the biggest one was pie tins. There were no pie tins. They do tarts.
Oh.
Yeah.
So everything's kind of smaller?
No, well, they even have large tarts, but they're just a straight side. So if you did the pie crust, it would fall in.
Yeah.
The slant means that the pie crust won't fall into itself. That's why it's slanted. So a round pie crust was, a pie tin was really hard to find. So we ended up, yeah, that was the funny thing.
You don't even think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pies are ours. All American.
I was the pie maker here. I actually, as you know, Rach, went out and visited our mom and some sisters in Oregon, so it's been really fun getting time with them. But I was the master pie maker. I made all the pies from scratch. My son, who's in college, came and he helped me. So we made apple and berry, which is our mom's favorite, and pumpkin. And I had 2 pumpkin pies. And my son, who's 22, he said, "I don't think that's enough pie." And I said, "I think that's plenty for the day of." He said, No. What about Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Mom? We got to really think. So we did 4 pumpkins so we could get through the weekend.
Wow.
He was planning.
Pumpkin pie for breakfast. The ultimate.
Exactly. He was like, "Wait, we're not going to have enough leftover pie, Mom. You got to think about this."
Well, I just had some leftover pies. It was delicious.
Yum, that's the best. But now that it's after Thanksgiving, we're starting to think about end of the year things for property management. And there are a few things we want to discuss today that are going to be critical with deadlines that you're really going to want to make sure that you don't forget. So hopefully this podcast is useful as you get through the end of the year. And I mean, December gets busy, as we know, and things are going to be in full swing with the holidays. So you're going to want to really make sure that you don't forget some of these things. So stay tuned. Maybe have a paper and pen, take some notes, because it could be very costly consequences, I guess, if you don't file some of these things or do these things by these deadlines. So what's the first one we want to talk about?
Well, there's been a few changes. The BOI e-filing is now required. It's the beneficial ownership information reporting. And that is going to be really expensive January 1st. If you don't do that and you have an LLC or a business, you need to definitely file that. That's $500 a day if you do not. So this is
day. Isn't that crazy? So if you have an LLC with your property, you want to make sure you file this. You do not want to forget that.
Right. And so if you own a business, this is really important. And then part of it is when I had papers sent to me from my accountant, and they offered to do it for $400. And it's crazy because it really is just a government link, and you can do this. It's going to take you all of maybe 10 minutes. So it's not worth paying someone $400. Please don't.
That was very kind of him. How nice. I'll do this for you for 10 minutes and I'm paying $400.
Right. So you go to BOIEFILING.FINCEN.gov. So we're going to put the link down in the notes, but it's BOIEFiling.FINCEN.gov. So you just can even type in BOI e-filing and you'll find it. But the first thing you do is it'll say e-filing get started. So click get started, and then it'll say web file online. That's what you want to do, because the other way would require you to print it out and everything like that. But easiest way is to file online. So it says prepare and submit BOIR. So you do that, click that, you put I agree, click that, and then you go initial report, and then request to receive your FINCEN ID. And this is going to be your new number that you're going to have in the next years that you'll be able to file using. But for right now, you're going to be setting up your account, so you're requesting to receive your FINCEN ID. You'll need your EIN number or your social security number if you're doing business as. And then you need your driver's license, your date of birth, your business address, and I think the hardest part was you need to upload that image of your driver's license. And the one thing I didn't know when I first did it was that it's all the owners of a business, so you don't each as an owner submit your own. You actually need to do all the owners at the same time. So get everybody's passport pictures or get everyone's driver's license pictures, and then you upload so that everybody has been done. If you do it wrong, then you just go back and then you click the button that says, I made a mistake, do it again. It says correcting previous report, and then do it correctly with all of them. But I want to save you the hassle, so yeah, go in and make sure you just are ready with everybody's photo ID.
That's if you have multiple owners in an LLC or something like that, right? Multiple partners. You want to make sure you have all that information at the same time, because if they try to file their own, it's going to come up saying this has already been filed, but yet their information is not in there. So you have to do it all at the same time. So that's a really important detail.
Right. And this is .gov. Remember, when you're typing it in, make sure and look at that address. And if it says .gov, you're in the right spot. There's going to be, since this is new and a lot of confusion, there's going to be people, third parties, that are going to try to,
of course,
get your information. So make sure you're on a Gov site. Yeah.
And we'll put that, as Rachel said, we'll put that link in the show notes so you can just go right from there. So hopefully that will save you some time and headache.
Right. So do that. And then what's next for us? What are you going to do next?
Well, also the end of the year, it's a time to start looking through, kind of reconciling your financial reports. I know this is so exciting and just what you want to do, but it's the time of year to start looking at, the expenses, your categories, your income, making sure you have all of those put into whatever financial software you use. And if you don't have a good financial software, I would be looking to find one and start the year out fresh with a new one. I do use Stessa. I like that. I feel like it has really great reports that I can just send on to my accountant. But there are all sorts of financial softwares, and a lot of the property management software have their own, financial reports they can print out and do. So whatever you use, make sure that you're reconciling those reports and making sure you have, all the insurance and property taxes in, and show all the income and late fees, anything like that. Go through each property and really make sure that you have, all those, every expense and categories accounted for.
Do you know, I've been thinking about that the new year starts, and of course, on January 1st, you're going to be starting a new grouping of categories. So as you're looking at all your categories, I would make sure that you make notes of maybe subgroups that you don't have a category for. Let's just say repairs. If you just have one category for repairs, well, fine, use that for this year. But next year, maybe you want to create categories that are repairs plumbing, repairs electrical, and you can make more finite categories so that you're able to run reports more easily. But now's the time to look at your reporting system and say, okay, next year would I like to do something better?
Exactly. It's a time to kind of analyze what things you've done well and what things maybe you want to tweak and go forward in the new year doing even better. So, because there's so many different, if you just have a blanket repairs and maintenance, well, you might want for your own analysis and records have, more specific, is this painting or is this roofing, or where is the money going in the repairs and maintenance, and where are we focusing our expenses? And that will help you know, as you're looking at capital expenses going forward for the next year. So,
Right.
I know it doesn't sound exciting. It's not, what you really want to do when you just want to watch Christmas movies and be in your jammies, but pull it out, look at it. And it's also a good time of year to look at properties and see which ones are cash flowing well, which ones did not do well, which ones are not in the positive, and see, okay, why? I started doing this about a week or two ago and looking and saying, okay, this property, it actually did not make a profit this year. Okay, why? And then I could look through and say, okay, we did this and this and this capital expenses. And, as long as I could see legitimate reasons, okay, that's good. But if there's really no rhyme or reason and you didn't really put a lot of money into it and it's not, maybe like you were saying, analyze your systems or like what went wrong or, what you could do going better. And also it's a time to say, okay, maybe this property is a bad apple and let's prune it and cut it out and look at selling it. Or, it's just a good time to reflect, because it is, I feel like with rental properties, they're always in flux, right? You're getting some, you're getting rid of some, you're analyzing, you're seeing which ones, and to just hold on to properties that, continually do not do well for whatever reason, maybe consider selling them and doing a different property or something like that. So don't be afraid to analyze that and be like, okay, we're going to cut this one off.
And as part of your analysis, decide what you want rent prices to be for your different properties for the next year.
Yes.
That's a good time to say, okay, what's happened? Are taxes going up? Insurance going up? Like, what do I need now for rent? What should be the increase as people renew throughout the year? What is it going to be for that property? That's a good thing to already know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you do have leases that are expiring in the first quarter, it's a good time to send out those notifications now saying, hey, I just, just so you know, the new rent amount would be such and such. If you want to keep them, we'd love to keep you as a tenant. Will you let us know if you're renewing or not? Just so you kind of have an idea what turnover is happening. So that's a good thing to kind of plan for that, so you know which leases are going to be ending and which ones are renewing. And if you have commercial properties, it's a good time to look at the CAM reconciliation also. I was going through with my assistant who does a lot of the bookkeeping, looking at what expenses we had this year for, I have a couple different office buildings, and those are usually triple net leases, and the tenants pay a CAM fee every month for maintenance things. So it's kind of a set fee, but what you do is at the end of the year, you go back and you look at all the expenses and tally all those up, and then you see if there's a deficit or a surplus, and then you react accordingly. And then you plan for the next year. Okay, are we redoing the parking lots? Are we painting? Does the landscaping need updated? And so we sat down and had a couple meetings saying, okay, what things do we know need to be done? And kind of planning, okay, what percentage increase do we need? Or if property taxes are going up, like you mentioned, and then say, okay, the CAM amount every month is going to need to be a 5% increase or whatever, based upon your plans for it. And then this is a really great time to notify the tenants of, saying next year this will be the expected CAM amount, just so they have a heads up for their accounting. So that's a really great time to do that. So that's what I've been doing. It's been so fun.
I've been doing reconciliations, watching Christmas movies. That has been fun too, but so much. Well, it's not a huge plot. There are not a lot of twists, so it's an easy one to have up there where I can look up and 10 minutes later, I still get what's going on.
That's true. The plot line is not super complicated.
Right. I can't do that with foreign films because I can't read subtitles and do my books, but definitely Christmas movies, easy.
You're like, wait, the hunky widower who owns the tree farm, he's still in the picture. It's going to end well. I just have to keep an eye on it.
And here enters the love interest. Okay. We're about 20 minutes in. They should have their first argument or problem,
Don't forget the high school boyfriend who's going to show up and cause a little conflict. So
suddenly. Right. So it's pretty good. I mean, you are in our hometown, so, and you did go ice skating. Classic. And you made pies.
You're checking all the Hallmark Christmas movie boxes. cute.
Anyway, so yeah, okay, so another thing is looking at your records and making sure that you've scanned in your receipts and that you've uploaded those, saved them,
Yes.
so that your books are clean and easily navigable, right? You know where your receipts are, you know where your expenses are, your income has all been put down accurately, and deposits have been recorded. So let's see. So now we're at deductions. So this would be maximizing your deductions. And this is a good question to have with your accountant. But things like your Wi-Fi that you use to run your business and your cell phone bills, your home office, let's say 10% of your house square footage is used for your home office. Well, then 10% of your utilities, 10% of your mortgage, 10% of your taxes, all are part of your home office. And then,
Right.
yeah, right. So,
which we talked about last week, some of those tax benefits. But yeah, it's a really good time to make sure that those are being put in
recorded.
And talking to your accountant. Yes, recorded. Because make sure you have kind of those strategic conversations with your accountant. I mean, maybe you just had a killer year and you're showing a lot of income and there's some purchases that need to be made for the business. You want to make sure you plan those and do those before the end of the year, whether it's maybe a company car or some equipment, laptops, or I don't know, maintenance equipment that you want to get. So making sure those strategic purchases are made in this calendar year.
Before December 31st, right. No, that's good.
Yeah, and tracking all the mileage. You said, like, if you're tracking your mileage and putting those in and just making sure those documentations are intact.
Even your ink cartridges for your printer or your computer, you mentioned stamps, envelopes, like all of those supplies that you use are things that you can buy in this year. If you have the revenue, you might as well be using it, because otherwise it'll transfer to your own personal income from your LLC, so as income. So it'd be good to spend it. If you were going to spend it anyway, you know that you have the money this year to do that. So that's good. Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway,
and then making sure that your 1099 forms, that your accountant has the information. If you are giving out 1099s for people that you do business with, that you employ, however you format that, but they always want to know their social security number and their birthday and their full name, all these things, so you can have those forms ready from your accountant to give to them after the new year.
Super important. That one's a big one, because if you even work with a different business, they'll be sending those out and calculating those before you probably have the addresses updated. So right now in December, make sure that your employees' addresses are accurate, your W-3s and W-4s, and then that your W-9s are ready for your vendors, contractors, and your owners, that you have those back so that you have accurate information for them and also their accurate addresses. So when those do go out, it's going to go to the correct address. So that's big. So that would be for non-employees, freelancers, contractors, vendors, small businesses that you deal with, like accountants, all of those people, anybody who you've paid more than $600 to.
I've already had a couple of contractors I work with ask, hey, can I get the W-9? I need that for my record. So just having that form already ready to go is going to save some time and help you to be prompt as they're trying to do their record keeping. So all these things to think of for the end of the year. I mean, it's important not to get too stressed out or overwhelmed, but just make a checklist for yourself. Try to stay on top of it and just be aware, and being proactive is always the best strategy, I think. So helping you to not be overwhelmed and rushing right at the end of the year, especially when it's going to be holidays and busy with all sorts of activities and family time, and you want to be able to be relaxed during that time because you took a couple weeks at the beginning of December and made sure all these things were in order.
Do you know, it was a few rough years of December 30th trying to get that information from my vendors, where I changed what I was doing, and now as I go to write a check, I make sure I have W-9 for that person because they want their check. But I won't write a check to them unless I have, so I'll email them W-9 and I'll say, hey, get that back to me and I can get this check to you. And then everybody wants their check. That is the moment where you are able to get the information you need in order to be able to do taxes later on. So do it throughout the year, and then it really does help cut down that work in December.
That's a good idea. That's a good tip for sure, because they will be more motivated to get that form to you if they're waiting on that check, because they want that.
Absolutely.
So good. Yes. I think there's a few, kind of recapping, a few common pitfalls people do. It's the end of the year, they kind of forget, and that's why we're here to help you remember those things. But just to recap, some of the common things is forgetting some income sources. So really, pick your brain, think of different ways that you have, whether it is in late fees, or, maybe you rent out some different space in a different way than the rental. Maybe you have a washer and dryer, laundromat kind of set up in one of your properties, or just make sure that you're accounting for all sources of income so that you can report those, because you do not want to have problems later on with unreported income. Do you have any tips on that, Rach?
Yeah, if you're using a separate bank account, that's how you're going to know what's going in and out and categorizing it. Really, it's too complicated to not. Like if it's going in your private bank account and you're trying to tease out which one of those is your paycheck and which one of those is money coming from a laundromat, your end of the year is just going to be miserable. So by using a separate bank account for your business, this is going to help you figure out where the money's coming from and where is it going. Yeah.
That is huge. And a lot of these things we do cover in our course that we have available on landladyboss.com, which we had a sale all this week, and it's not too late. Try to get on there and get it, but it's how to start your property management business. And we go through all of these steps so that it is laid out with, your separate bank accounts, and having that LLC established, and you're getting your EIN, all these things we really walk you through. So if some of the things we're saying sound complicated or foreign, or something that you have not done yet with your property management business, maybe take a look at that course, and that can really get you started on a strong business foundation. So a lot of these year-end things are not so overwhelming or intimidating because you started out the right way.
Right. Yeah, I think that was our exciting news, is that we've launched our courses, and we get so many questions. We're like, okay, we should really just put this all together in an easy format with a manual, so you can see how to set up your business properly the first time, and then we teach you how to find dream tenants and how to keep them. So
that's our next one that's coming very soon. We almost have that up. So keep checking back. We have 4 or 5 in the works, and we're going to be slowly releasing them. So, you can absorb them as they come. But yeah, our next one that is almost up and launched is how to get your dream tenant, which don't we all want that? So that would be so useful.
Yes. Yeah, it's an awesome one. So anyway, we're here for you, and we hope that this list isn't too overwhelming, but that it has sparked some reminders for you so that you do get it done on time, that you don't have penalties and you don't have financial consequences because you didn't do it on time. So we're trying to tell you in advance.
Right, absolutely. Make sure that you don't miss those deadlines. Make sure you're keeping good records. And maybe this year, if you're like, you know what, this did not go very well in that regard, make the goal now to next year keep better records. Find a software system that works for you that will help keep you organized, because this is an evolving business, and no judgment, no shame, but if this last year you're like, you know what, this was a disaster, okay, make some goals, get some education, some training, try to set yourself up for success going into the next year.
And you can do it.
Yeah, we can do it. Woo! We're with you. We're helping you. Hopefully this makes your life as a landlady boss a little easier. If you're enjoying the podcast, we do this for you. So if you're enjoying it, please leave a 5-star review and subscribe and share so we can help even more people and reach them. And remember, no one manages your properties as well as you.